I'm Neha. I'm a product reviewer for Software Finder. Thank you so much for joining us, Craig. This is our Vendor Spotlight series where we highlight specific projects. So why don't we start off with the question of what was the inspiration for starting Striven and what was the market gap that you guys were trying to fill?
Thanks for having me. So ultimately, Striven was created by Miles IT in 1997 by Chris Miles in his basement. So one of the biggest things that he wanted to do with Striven when he created Striven was to fill the gaps that Miles IT was having, which was basically the same problem that thousands of companies face, which is disconnected software and their systems were just slowing them down. So ultimately, that was causing Miles IT constant frustration and headaches, not to mention the cost that piled up from disconnected systems. So from that, Striven was built, and it became something that Miles IT was the first user of, and we found that lots of businesses have benefited from Striven.
And if I'm not mistaken, your primary customer base is small to medium businesses. So can you talk a little bit about how Striven is serving that audience while offering what the feature set that you're offering, which is quite extensive?
In the past, ERP has been a software for a lot of big companies, but we wanted to change that. We believe ERP software can be for small and medium-sized businesses as well. Ultimately, what we want to do is help businesses accomplish more. And a lot of small and medium-sized businesses were getting left out of the ERP picture, and we felt that didn't need to be the case. We wanted to build something that was not just affordable for them to use, but easy for them to use and has all the features that larger ERP systems do for a fraction of the cost.
And what are some of these features that you're talking about that bigger ERPs generally offer that Striven is also offering?
Striven does so many different things. I could be here all day if I wanted to name all of them, but accounting is a huge one. Yeah. Project and task management is another one. CRM is another. Inventory management. We have customer and vendor portals so that you can make payments, connect to bank accounts. You can run any kind of report on any data that you have inside of Striven. Ultimately, Striven is built to connect all of the business processes together so that things that happen in your project management software can also just connect to your accounting system. Really, everything is in one place, and you can just get a true picture of how your company's doing. That's the name of the game.
Dealing with a product that is an all-in-one service like Striven is, how do you balance the feature depth across all of these modules, so things like accounting, CRM, and project management? How do you ensure that you're offering the best in every area? Or is there a specific area that you feel like you guys offer more in?
Sure. Striven really excels in all those areas, but the main way that we ensure that is twofold. One, we have a great development team in-house that work just for us. They spend all day building Striven, maintaining Striven, doing all the things they need to do to keep customers happy on Striven. We're also backed by Miles IT, which is a 600 full-time employee IT company. We have so much IT infrastructure behind us that we do everything that we can to support Striven and make sure that we have the resources necessary to grow all facets of it. Because any business doesn't need just one feature, they need all of them. So we tend to prioritize everything that our customers are using. So we look at all of our customer data. We prioritize, accounting is a huge one, right? Every business needs accounting. So ultimately, that's somewhere where we are super strong, and we're really strong everywhere because everybody needs everything. They don't just need one little thing. Long term, we want to build all the features that businesses need right in one platform.
When you're talking about accounting, I feel like integrations are extremely important. Does Striven offer a lot in terms of integrations with other software?
Very common among our customer base. We have API access, API endpoint access that people can really build integrations that they see fit. We have some people that build that take advantage of very industry-specific things. If one example is the hearth and fireplace industry. It's a very specific type of user base, and they have very specific needs in some areas, integrated with external systems to amplify their productivity. Other integrations such as Shopify and ShipStation, any payment processors really, we keep our APIs open so that people can take advantage of all the great tools that are out there and things that they're already using.
And when you're talking about these specific examples, do you feel like there are specific industries that Striven is more geared towards or specific user groups that you cater to more than others?
Striven at its core isn't designed for any one particular industry, yet we've found that there's a breadth of industries that really have the most success on Striven. One that I mentioned previously was anyone who's looking to reporting on accounting, and really anyone trying to do accounting in general, but that's pretty universal, right? Everybody needs accounting. We found that a lot of other professional services businesses, such as consultants, find a lot of success with Striven because it has everything they need to plan things out, send invoices, maintain customer records, and all that. We found that field service businesses love Striven. They are able to use Striven on their phones to go out into the field, to make sure their inventory is up to snuff, to make sure everything that they need in the field is ready, not just in the back office. Manufacturers have found a lot of success on Striven as well. Just production planning and scheduling and getting everything that they need, right in one system, and they can just take advantage of all the amazing things Striven offers really well. So those are kind of the big ones, but we've had a lot of people on Striven in a lot of different industries. So I want to say that there's no limit to the type of business that can be on Striven, but those are some of the examples of our shining customers that we have.
Right. And I believe Striven is cloud only by design. Is there a specific reason why that deployment choice was made?
As Miles IT, as an IT company, that helps us tremendously. We service a lot of businesses out in the field in our other IT departments. So ultimately, we want something that people can connect to anywhere, anytime, and update data anywhere, anytime. On-premise software does come benefits to it, but in our opinion, cloud comes with way more. And we ultimately want people to be able to access their full data anywhere, anytime. They just need an internet connection and a phone or any type of device, and they can use Striven seamlessly.
Because when you're talking about specific businesses like field services businesses, do you also offer offline access to the data? Are people able to use your services while they're offline in the field?
Striven is not something where we build it so that you can use it offline, but we pride ourselves on making our app very mobile friendly and easy to use anywhere on your phone. So to be honest, that's kind of something that hasn't come up for us super frequently. We've found that most businesses are able to, kind of get their data on their phone out in the field and just still able to put everything into Striven seamlessly with that. So, but it's not an offline software, but we're in an online world these days. So we're content with being cloud only and staying online. Yep.
Okay. And when you're dealing with these businesses that are often SMBs that aren't necessarily sure if an ERP is for them, how would you help users make the decision to, one, purchase an ERP and then two, specifically Striven?
Heard quite a bit, some reservations as to why people don't want to adopt ERP software, right? The adoption is too hard, it's too expensive, it's too much to maintain. And I think those were all valid concerns. I would say that a lot of those people haven't really tried Striven. Striven is very affordable. So that kind of is right off the bat something that we aim to provide to small businesses and to provide value to them at a lower cost than some of our larger competitors. However, that being said, we make our adoption process super easy. Our support team, if you look up any reviews about Striven, the one common thread is that our support team and our adoption team, they're absolutely amazing. We work directly hands-on with any users in your company that want to get onto Striven, not just the heads of the company and not just the accounting professionals that may be using it at first, but anyone in the company that wants to take advantage of Striven. We have people there ready all day, all night, hands-on to just get people on board and teach them how to use the software. But I've actually heard this from a lot of customers, and I kind of view this as a little bit of a measure of success with someone that's come on to Striven. They said they didn't realize how disconnected and disorganized they were until they started using Striven. So sometimes the value isn't always apparent right at first. Before you go and find a new software, you may not feel the overwhelming need to do that at the moment. But that being said, if you're using a lot of disconnected systems, the data can get wonky, your payments will skyrocket, and you're just overall not going to have the synchronicity that a business needs, especially in a remote environment where people may be working all over the world. I'm working from home. Our company's a remote first company. So that's something that we really try to think about. Striven, ultimately, there's a lot of value in just getting all of your things in one place. And I've heard that from so many people where they're like, man, I'm so organized and like only paying you guys now, as opposed to before I was trying to find things in 5 different systems, paying 10 different bills. Didn't realize how bad I had it until it is now. So that's kind of, there's obviously some apprehension sometimes to adopting ERP software, especially on the smaller company end, to meet those challenges head on and just meet people where they are and get them on board this amazing software.
That's amazing. And I feel like you guys, from what you've said, spend a lot of time talking to your customers and really being in touch with what your customers are saying. Are there a few case studies or a specific user that you would like to highlight in terms of how Striven has benefited their business? One
of our success stories that I think is pretty relevant to a lot of businesses out there. We have a company who is a machine parts manufacturer. Manufacturers make up, I think, the vast majority of businesses in the U.S. these days. This manufacturer particularly was able to save over $40,000 a year with Striven, as opposed to the system that they were using before. So that savings is really just the top line number from what they were able to save by just using our software, as opposed to the other systems that they were using before. And that doesn't even take into account all of the organization that they were able to achieve. One of the biggest things that this manufacturer stated, besides the cost savings that was the benefit of using Striven, was just having all of their data connected. And personally, in my opinion, one of the strongest features of Striven is its ability to report on data and give you insights based on the numbers that your business is producing. This business was able to do just that. They have better data accuracy amongst everything in their factory, amongst their sales, amongst their accounting and their projects. And that's something where they felt that they originally thought they found ERP software, right? And they were like, you know what, this might not be the right fit for us because we're still having to use other systems. Let's try to find something that's more affordable, more connected, and more fit for our needs in the small and medium-sized business world. So that's just one example of a manufacturer that found success. I could talk about any number of people that saved money from getting rid of their disconnected software and finding one thing that really handles it all.
It sounds like the impact is very direct in terms of the benefit that Striven offers its customers. You mentioned a little bit about the reporting. Can you speak a little more about what Striven offers in terms of reporting? What are some features that people are able to access in that area?
Yeah, totally. So the biggest benefit to reporting is being able to take any numbers that your accounting team has, whether that be sales, revenue, cost of goods, really anything. You can take any of those numbers, report them against any data from your project and task sets. You can report them against any data from your customer records. And really the idea is to make better business decisions. When you have all of your data at your fingertips and you're able to pick and choose the numbers that you want to see over various time periods, cost thresholds, whatever the case may be, Striven allows you to make better informed decisions with its reporting functionalities. Personally, as a marketing manager, I use it every day to track our lead sources and to track things that are coming in on the sales side of things, right? So we can ultimately see, where the sales are coming from, where the sales are not coming from, or where cost savings are coming from, anything like that. A lot of systems don't have their accounting numbers, don't have all of their numbers connected to the rest of their data. And when that happens, that presents a gap where you're not able to make the best decisions with all of the data at your fingertips. Striven, that's one of the biggest challenges that we try to solve, is connecting all of your data together so that you can have the full picture and not just fragmented pictures across various systems.
That really does make sense, that when you have that sort of clarity in terms of what your numbers are looking like, then you'll be able to make better decisions, which I'm sure leads to the numbers that you just quoted us in terms of cost savings. So I feel like you guys are pretty in touch with how your software is benefiting customers and where you have the most to offer. Is there a specific area that you are working on that you feel like is important to work on moving into the next year, or that's something that is a priority for you in terms of product development?
Yeah, we have so many different things on our roadmap. That's one of the great things about being an all-in-one software, is that we really work on any variety of modules. One thing that I do want to highlight from that question is how we can better make tasks and projects better for all of our users. We're working on making our task screen, our task dashboards, and everything else just a lot more seamless, integrated for all of our users. We have custom dashboards that you can make on Striven. So if you're focused on tasks and projects, you can have your dashboard primarily showcase task and project data. If you're an accountant, then you can look at all of the accounting numbers that you want to see right there. So our custom dashboards are like one of the biggest areas that we always focus on with our development, no matter what. But in particular, we're continuing to grow out our task functionality, our project management functionality over the next couple of years. But that being said, we're working on so many other things: our CRM workflows, our dispatching, our route tracking, all of that stuff. So we're working on a lot of different things for a lot of different industries right now, and it's really exciting.
That sounds really exciting. So when you're working on so many areas, is AI-based automation something that is a focus for you and your team? Is that something that is currently implemented, or something that you intend to increase moving forward?
Yeah, like any other business in the world right now, right? We're thinking about AI. So that's something that's always on our radar. As Miles IT, as the company that makes Striven, we have a whole team of people that are dedicated to creating automated integrations using AI to create the best tools possible for businesses. And that's something that we're doing on the Striven side as well. Right now, we're already using AI in some of our development processes. We're using it to just make Striven better on the back end so that we can make better product decisions. And we're really working on incorporating AI directly into our product as well. One of the things that I find the most personally interesting about AI is the ability to have natural language processing built into software. So that's something that I know our team has discussed, and I know has been researching and working on behind the scenes. Going to get some really cool AI stuff out in the future. But yes, AI is slowly eating the software world. So it's something that we think about and we talk about in our meetings almost every day.
Since you are an ERP, data security is a huge concern for a lot of people. For people who may be considering adopting Striven,
privacy is obviously of the utmost importance to us and to everybody in the, not just in the tech world, just in the world. One of the big perks of being backed by Miles IT is that we have decades and decades of IT infrastructure experience, and we provide up to the minute latest standards of encryption, of security, of everything for Striven the product. And that goes for our entire company at large, obviously, as well. That's something that we wouldn't be a successful IT company if we weren't able to protect people's data. That comes first and foremost, right? So ultimately, that's and we do have businesses, outside of the threat of malicious actors and protecting your data in an encrypted way. There's always considerations for businesses that just want to have that extra layer of privacy, whether that be medical manufacturers or somebody who's working on sensitive information, maybe that be, government or military needs as well. And we definitely take those into consideration. We have a lot of compliance experts and a lot of security experts on staff. So we handle all of that in-house, and we're very proud to say that our company likes to set a very, very, very high standard for security and encryption practices for everything that we do.
And when we're talking about businesses that may feel like their needs are more niche, is there something that Striven offers in terms of customization of products?
How we're working on tasks and projects, and a lot of people refer to those things as different words, right? Different industries are going to have different verbiage. So what we like to do is customize our systems to be labeled the way that businesses would make sense for them. And like how I mentioned with the dashboards before, your dashboards are there to customize to your needs. So if you're a manufacturer, you're probably going to want to see some production scheduling numbers. You're going to want to see your inventory levels. You're going to want to see when you're going to need to restock with your vendors right on your dashboard. But if you're an accountant, for example, you may just want to see your profit and loss reports, your AP and your AR, collections balances. So whatever your industry is, Striven is going to present that data that's important to you first and foremost. And like the perk of being an all-in-one software, right, is that you can take advantage of all of the things in Striven, use everything that it does for you. But if you have a specific industry need, like I had mentioned with the hearth and fireplace industries, there are integrations that you can obviously take advantage of. But for the most part, you can handle everything right inside Striven. It's just a matter of bringing the pieces that you need to the forefront and basically having them be as easy access as possible. So every industry does have many, specific needs, which is something that our team talks about every day, our development team works on every day, our marketing team works to reach people at every day. So that's one of the reasons our development team is so busy, is because we're working on a lot of different needs for a lot of different industries. And I think that's a strength for us, because that allows us to be the best that we can be, and we don't have to compromise in any one particular area. We can just keep building all the things that businesses need.
Right. And since your development team is working day in and day out on improving the product, as you said, and you are in contact with customers about their experiences, is there a particular process that you follow for improving the product based off of customer feedback?
Yeah, we have a wonderful tool that you can submit tasks right through Striven inside of the app, right to our Striven team. They're called enhancement requests. And, like with any software, right, anybody that uses it is going to have some requests in there. So we have requests that come in a variety of different sizes, right? Some people want to add a big brand new feature, and some people just want small tweaks. When we take all those, we have meetings that talk about all the things that our customers are requesting, that we request internally as well, and then prioritize as we see fit within the roadmap to kind of work those out. One thing that our CEO, Chris Miles, always mentions that I take to heart is that you don't always want to go chasing shiny objects, right? There's always going to be a shiny object in front of you that seems alluring and seems like that's the thing you have to prioritize on. And sometimes maybe the shiny object is the thing that you prioritize on. But a lot of times you have to really take the collection of suggestions and enhancement requests that you have, distill them into the core essence of what the customers really need for not just the short term, but the long term as well, and then kind of figure out the best path forward. So we don't want to chase any shiny objects, but at the same time, we love listening to the feedback from our customers, because they're the ones on the ground using the software in their industry every day to do their job. So our job is to ultimately help them accomplish more.
That's great. That's great to hear that. You spoke a little bit about the feedback you get from your founders and how that influences the overall vision of the company. Can you tell us a little bit about how the founder's vision influences how the product is developed, and how the development team at Striven is motivated by a specific vision that the founder has?
Sure. So, the core philosophy of not just Striven, but Miles IT, set by our CEO, Chris Miles, is that we want to help businesses accomplish more. Whatever that may be, we want to help them do it. With Striven, it's a pretty easy answer, right? With Striven, we provide this all-in-one ERP software, provide excellent customer support, provide them features. On the Miles IT side of things, maybe it's upping their security standards. Maybe it's building them a website. Maybe it's installing some hardware for them. We want to help the businesses accomplish more, and we are always going to strive our best to really just help them do that. That is always our number one concern. A lot of people preach that. We practice it. We just want to see businesses succeed, because when they succeed, we succeed too. It's a win for everybody. So I would say that philosophy is what drives our product development. It's what drives our marketing. It's what drives everything at our company.
And in the ERP space specifically, how do you see the industry developing, and two, how do you see Striven developing within that industry to keep up with the emerging trends?
I'm not sure if you had saw in the news over the last few months, but recently Acumatica, who is another large player in the mid-market ERP space, was recently acquired by a private equity company for around $2 billion. So to me, that kind of showcases the big importance of the mid-market ERP landscape. Ultimately, that's an investment that Vista Equity Partners made. And frankly, I don't think they'd be making that investment if they didn't think there was a big return on that investment waiting in the wings. But ultimately, mid-market companies, as I mentioned before, are starting to take advantage of ERP software more than ever. I think over the next, 5-10 years, that trend is only going to increase. We want to continue building out our API integrations to make sure customers are able to accomplish more as best as they can. Everybody has all the features they need at an affordable cost, so they can actually take advantage of all the things that ERP software can do and don't get priced out by some of the larger people in the space. But ultimately, I view the prospects of mid-market ERPs. It's going to grow a lot. Within the next 10 years, there's probably going to be, I want to say, maybe even double the companies that are using ERP now, not just for Striven, but in general. So I think we're in a great position to take advantage of this development in the market. And I think there's just so much promise and growth, and companies are really starting to see that value in the ERP space for their size.
Right. And you mentioned pricing out right now. I feel like that must be a huge concern for people in mid-market. Is that something that is, driving the strategy at Striven?
I do think so. It's something that we talk about quite a bit. And while there are always costs associated with anything good, right? But basically the biggest thing that we want to focus on is being able to be that option for those companies, and to bring them the same level of success that they would have with a one of the major ERP players in the space, which a lot of people have come to us from because maybe they felt they were too big, their support wasn't as hands-on as it needed to be. So ultimately what we try to do is provide something that is affordable but really provides the most value for our customers as well.
Is there anything else you would like to highlight in terms of a specific feature you guys offer or a specific product development that is upcoming in this year?
Nothing too groundbreaking. I just want to say that we're always looking to improve, right? That's kind of the biggest name of the game, right? Is that you never want to stay stagnant. You never want to stay just set in the things that have brought you success in the past. What we always try to do is say, okay, whatever happened in the past, we can take that and learn from it, and we just have to make the best decisions going forward. And I think a lot of that, in terms of marketing, in terms of what I do every day, is a little bit of the process of trial and error, right? You're always trying to see what works, what doesn't, and being able to, cut the losing strategies and amplify the winning strategies, right? So that philosophy definitely doesn't just apply to marketing. It applies to everything that we do with our product. If we find something is really working, we're going to keep working on it and just trying to get better, a little bit better every day.
Before we end, what's some advice that you would give business owners that are considering purchasing an ERP? What are some things that they should prioritize when looking for a platform like this?
When it comes to software and ERP software, I have talked to a lot of business owners and heard a lot of their frustrations, heard a lot of their apprehensions, and heard a lot of positive things from them as well. The biggest thing that I can say is that ERP software adoption may sound daunting, but the apprehension that's in your head is almost always worse than the reality, especially when you have a team like we have with Striven that are going to work with you every step of the way. We've had so many people kind of refer to some of our Striven adoption coordinators and success partners as members of their own business sometimes, right? Because sometimes they're so embedded into the things that these companies are doing with Striven that they're just working with them hands-on on a lot of different projects. And there's nothing better that we like to see than that happening, than that dynamic happening where we can just work with the customers and get their stuff done. And, you know, I would say that any apprehension you have about an ERP software or about adopting something that does comprise the majority of your business processes, to take the time to learn about us and what we do. And talk to some of the real people that have had success from from Striven. And, you know, we have a lot of people that are featured on our website we've done video testimonials with about the success they've had with Striven. So I would encourage you, anybody that's thinking about that, to just go listen to some of those videos, talk to some of the people that have used Striven, and they'll tell you all the amazing things about it and why the apprehension was a little worse than the reality in a lot of cases.
That was very interesting, and I think very helpful for people who are looking to get into this, to purchase an ERP. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for the time. It was a pleasure, and I appreciate the time.